What if I told you that the gap between the rich and the poor has almost nothing to do with luck, talent, or even how hard you work? We're talking about a divide that affects roughly 3.5 billion people on this planet, and the real reasons behind it are things nobody ever teaches you in school. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you're going to see money, success, and your own daily habits in a completely different way. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine the people, same city, same age, maybe even similar backgrounds. One of them is sitting on a net worth that keeps climbing every single month. The other one is checking their bank account and somehow it's lower than it was 30 days ago. Same world, completely different realities. What's actually going on here? Today we're pulling back the curtain on what truly separates the rich from the poor, and I promise you, some of this is going to make you uncomfortable. Let's start with the first major separator, and this one hits differently than you'd expect. It's how each group thinks about learning. The wealthy treat knowledge like an investment. We're talking about people who carve out serious time every single year just for continuous learning. Books, courses, mentors, seminars, podcasts from people smarter than them. They are obsessively collecting mental tools. Now contrast that with the average person who finishes school, lands a job, and basically closes the book on self-education forever. The rich understand something profound here. Your brain is genuinely your highest returning asset. Every idea you absorb, every skill you develop, every perspective you gain compounds over time just like money in an account. The poor often fall into what's called a fixed mindset, believing their abilities are basically locked in from birth. The wealthy operate from a growth mindset, constantly asking what can I learn next rather than assuming they already know enough. Here's where it gets really interesting. The second separator is all about time and delayed gratification. Think about the people. Let's call them person A and person B. Person A gets a raise and immediately upgrades his lifestyle. Brand new television, the latest gaming console, maybe a nicer apartment. He's celebrating his accomplishment and his friends are impressed. Person B gets that same raise and barely changes anything about how he lives. Person B is boring at dinner parties, right? Wrong. Person B is quietly building something that will eventually make him untouchable financially. The rich consistently choose long-term gain over short-term pleasure. They can hold off on the reward. They can sit in the discomfort of delayed satisfaction because they understand that every dollar they don't spend today is a dollar that can work for them tomorrow. The poor, and I say this without judgment, are often conditioned by their environment to solve immediate discomfort immediately. When you've grown up without financial security, spending money when you have it actually feels rational. Breaking that pattern is one of the hardest psychological challenges a person can face. Now let's talk about something that almost nobody explains clearly. The third separator is how the rich and poor relate to income itself. Most people have one income stream. One job, one salary, one source. And here's the terrifying truth about that. One source means one point of failure. The moment that job disappears, the entire financial structure collapses. The wealthy, even those who started with nothing, have an obsession with building multiple streams of income. Businesses, investments, royalties, real estate, licensing. They're stacking sources so that even if one goes away, the others keep the engine running. And here's the compounding kicker on that. Many of their income sources require little to no ongoing time once established. Their money is making money while they sleep, while they're on vacation, while they're having dinner. That's not magic, it's architecture. Financial architecture that the poor were simply never taught how to build. This brings us to the fourth separator, which is morning routines and daily rituals. Now I know what you're thinking, not another video about waking up at 5 a.m. and drinking celery juice. Stay with me here because this goes deeper than the cliche. Successful people across industries share a striking pattern of intentional mornings, not necessarily identical routines. But the common thread is this. They own the first part of their day before the world makes demands on their attention, whether that's exercise, meditation, planning, reading, or some combination. They're filling their tank before anyone else can drain it. The science behind this is real. Your willpower, your focus, and your decision-making capacity are all highest in the morning. Protect that window and you protect your most valuable cognitive resources. A modest investment in a morning ritual that costs nothing but time can genuinely shift the trajectory of your entire day and by extension your entire life. The fifth separator is how each group handles financial pressure and setbacks. When the rich face a financial hit, they analyze it. They look at what went wrong, they adjust the strategy, and they move forward. When the poor face a financial hit, the emotional weight of it can be crushing in a way that leads to even worse financial decisions. Payday loans, maxing out credit, avoiding creditors. These aren't signs of stupidity, they're signs of stress responses under scarcity conditions. The rich have a psychological buffer not just from money but from having a roadmap. They know roughly where they're headed, and one setback doesn't erase the map. Building that roadmap is something anyone can do, but it requires education, intentionality, and the courage to plan when planning feels futile. Let's zoom out for a second because this next point is massive. The sixth separator is understanding how systems work in your favor or against you. Tax codes, investment vehicles, business structures, asset protection strategies. The wealthy have accountants, financial advisors, and lawyers who help them legally position their money to grow and be protected. Meanwhile, the average person pays the full rate on everything and never thinks twice about it. Now, I'm not saying the system is perfectly fair. It's not. But understanding the rules of the game you're playing is not optional if you want to win. The rich play chess with the financial system while many others don't even know which game board they're sitting at. The seventh and perhaps most underrated separator is who you surround yourself with. Show me your 5 closest friends and I will show you your financial future. This is not a motivational poster slogan, this is behavioral science. We mirror the habits, the ambitions, the spending patterns, and the beliefs of the people we spend the most time with. If everyone around you believes that wealth is for other people, that success requires luck you'll never have, or that investing is too risky and complicated, those beliefs will slowly become yours. The rich actively and strategically seek out people who are operating at a higher level. Not to be sycophantic, but because proximity to excellence creates a pull toward excellence. Here's the honest truth about what we've covered today. None of these separators are about intelligence. None of them require you to be born into a wealthy family. Every single one of them is a learnable, adaptable, changeable behavior or mindset. The gap between the rich and the poor is real and it is wide, but the bridge across that gap is built from daily decisions, small and consistent, compounding quietly over time until the results become impossible to ignore. The question isn't whether you can cross that bridge. The question is whether you're willing to take the first step and keep taking steps even when you can't yet see the other side. Drop a comment below telling me which of these 7 separators resonated most with you. And if this video opened your eyes even slightly, share it with someone who needs to see it.